the hope is that increased flexibility will really help students. I mean, one of the amazing things that's sometimes hard to see from our vantage point here on campus is that there are 15,000 TRU students across the country and around the world who are doing courses right now through TRU through open learning. So there are actually more students in open learning than there are on campus. There's 60 programs delivered via open learning, some that don't exist on campus. For example, there's a Bachelor of Health Science that's delivered through open learning. There's a Bachelor of General Studies that's offered through open learning. Those are programs that don't exist on campus. So already, TRU benefits greatly from, increased flexible options. So our hope is that this will just augment the options that are available to students, and that maybe the combination of all those things will inspire more students to choose TRU. So the blended modality, where we've got students doing some stuff in person and some stuff online every week. Some of that's been happening already. School of Business has been running some courses that would fall into the hybrid modality. And there are some programs that do deliver some things fully online synchronously. So there's the nurse practitioner program has some of those courses already. We're not going to see every course being available in those options, right? So what we're looking for initially, there'll be some pilot projects to see, are there courses and programs that are maybe more suited to this than others? So yeah, any course that moves into one of those modalities will have to be redesigned at some level. It might not be about the content, but it'll be about how that content is delivered. So if it's a blended course, probably all the exams and assignments and stuff will still be, exams would still happen in person. Hybrid, where you've got a group of students in person and a group of students online participating simultaneously. There you would probably see some sort of online delivery of exams. And in open learning, all of our exams are now fully online, although students have an option to do them in person if they want. So students have that kind of choice. I think we would probably see that same choice being available to students in the online synchronous courses. But really, I think there'd be sort of a minimum level of technology students would need. They would still be using Moodle and all those things, our learning management system, but probably a pretty you don't have to have the fanciest laptop or tablet to be able to access most of those things. So I think most students are pretty well equipped, but we also want to make sure that for students, say doing a hybrid course, that there's also enough technology on campus for students to use if they don't have access to devices, because what we want to add flexibility for students, but we also don't want to make it more difficult for students to access these courses if they don't have access to a laptop or a phone or whatever that they might use. And that's one of the things that we're also really making sure that we try to consider. And as we launch these courses and these new modalities, one of the things that, for example, the Center for Excellence in Learning and Teaching, and also the Learning Technology and Innovation team, will be able to support faculty in thinking through how to actually deliver learning in any of these modalities in sort of the best possible way. So if you're a student and you have a face-to-face course from 10 to 11, and then you've got a course that's going to be meeting online from 11 to 12, you need somewhere to go that's quiet, where you have access to, especially if you're being expected to participate in that online course or that hybrid course that maybe just happens to be meeting on, it's a Thursday and you happen to be meeting at 11 online. You can't just go home in 10 minutes to go to your apartment or whatever to join into that course. So we need to have to be really mindful about having enough space, quiet workspace, where students can participate adequately. But we also need to make sure that if we're going to have an instructor delivering content online, that they've got enough technology and technology support to be able to do that effectively. And when we talk about hybrid, where we're going to have, it might be a class of 40 students, 20 of them might be in person and 20 of them might be online, participating together. You need special kinds of classrooms that can enable that, right? So you can see your classmates on the screen, and if you're watching online, you can hear the questions that students are asking of the instructor. So you have to have very special classrooms for that. The School of Business has a couple, I believe, but we're looking at which classrooms can we renovate to make them suitable for hybrid learning as well. So we can't just suddenly offer 200 hybrid courses if we don't have the right classrooms to do that. So there's a real investment that's going to happen in classroom technology as well to really use that modality. Each school or faculty has been asked to, I think, propose some programs and courses to try out as sort of a pilot project, because we don't want every school or faculty sort of rushing into this in ways that we can't fully support to make sure that it's going smoothly. So each of them has been asked to come up with some courses and programs to try this out. And so we'll see. I think that's going to be interesting to see which ones come forward. I think there's still... But one of the places where we're continuing to see enrollment growth is in the open learning asynchronous courses. So enrollment, I think, is up so far 19% over last year in the open learning asynchronous. And so this is going to give those students as well some other options that they might want to do. They might want to do an online synchronous course. They might want to do a hybrid course. And I think, that the students on campus too, once they get the taste of some of the other modalities, they might also sign up for more open learning courses as well. So that, I think that each of those sides of things might help support, enrollment growth in the other areas. We really focus on the creating and delivering the courses and supporting those 15,000 students who are mostly not here on campus, right? There's about 2,000 students on campus who do both in-person and open learning courses. So I think there's opportunities for, as more students start to look more broadly at the different modalities available to them, we might see even more students, that 2,000 number, we call them dual enrollment students. We might see that number grow. But also, we've got over 40 years of history working in these sort of modalities. There's a lot of expertise that we have that we can share with the rest of campus and to help support those other those new modalities. So I've been really deeply involved with the crafting of the definitions of all 5 of those modalities. So we're working really closely with other areas on campus in terms of helping them to think through how that might work.
Of course, I do enjoy the structure and the social environment that in-person classes provide me with. I get to interact with my peers. I'll also get to interact with my teachers, which is really helpful for me as an introvert. So I like how dynamic the in-person classes are. But on the other hand, online classes have really been a game changer for me because I get to plan my studies around my personal schedule and my work life as well. So that has really been something that I value. Well, for in-person classes, I would have to say that it's the rigid schedule that does not appeal to me because it becomes very difficult to manage your work life and your personal life along with a rigid schedule that you have to follow. But on the other hand, open learning is really flexible. I can manage my work life, I can go out with my friends and still be able to, you know, keep a track of my studies, but then without a lack of face-to-face accountability and structure, I get tend to get a bit distracted sometimes. But yeah, that's I think. Yeah, I did hear about the truly flexible initiative that's being introduced by DRU, and I am really excited to see how it's gonna bring changes for the students. I think that this new initiative will make learning more accessible and it will be more tailored to individual needs, especially for people like me who are juggling multiple responsibilities at the same time. It will give us the option to study at the same time, have meaningful in person interactions, and I am really excited to see how it will help the students succeed further in their lives.